Welcome to Canadian Innovators, the show that celebrates innovation, entrepreneurs, and the Canadian spirit. I'm Jocelyn Bamford, and every week we introduce a new entrepreneur or expert in the economy to tell their stories and unpack the challenges of keeping jobs in Canada, as well as share ideas for economic growth and prosperity. The Doug Ford government in Ontario roared into power under the Open for Business banner. After 6 years, how are they doing on this mandate? Have they really cut the red tape as promised? Is Ontario a friendly business climate for small to medium-sized business, or are they missing the mark? Joining me to discuss is Ontario Taxpayers Federation Ontario Director Jay Goldberg. Welcome to the program, Jay.
Great to be with you.
Doug Ford has pledged to reduce red tape and have an open for business mandate. Jay, your thoughts on the Ford government's pledge of red tape reduction? What grade would you give them after the past 6 years?
I think you have to give them a B minus. I mean, I would say that they've certainly done their fair share in terms of undoing a lot of the bad regulations that were introduced in the Wynne and McGuinty years. But, you know, that's starting from a very bad place. And so we can't necessarily say that Ontario is in perfect shape when it comes to red tape and reducing red tape. I would just say it's a tremendous improvement upon what we had under the Liberals. Certainly in terms of encouraging business investment here, there's some more things they could do, and we can talk about it. You know, we haven't talked about the business tax rate. We haven't talked about what the feds are about to do with the capital gains tax. The carbon tax Ford has fought against. He's obviously repealed the cap and trade. We now are facing the federal carbon tax. There's a lot of things that are headwinds against small and medium-sized businesses here in Ontario. But on red tape, I would say largely they've done a decent job in at least getting us back to a more competitive place than we were when Kathleen Wynne left office.
So what are the areas that you think there has been some additional burdens added? Can you focus in on anywhere where we've lost a few and then gained a few back?
Well, I mean, the minimum wage is certainly one issue that we can talk about. You know, no matter where you come down on the minimum wage, in 2018, Doug Ford touted in his platform that he was going to cancel the increase. He said it was going to hurt jobs, it was going to hurt the economy, hurt investment. And so, you know, he made that argument. The government has since turned around and increased the minimum wage a number of times. Wherever you come down on that issue, that was a flip-flop, which is, you know, something that's pretty usual for the Ford government at Queen's Park these days. Certainly, we can talk about it. The big handouts to big auto giants that they've been doing, I call it the bromance with the Trudeau government over the EV handouts, you know, picking and choosing a few very wealthy companies to give money to, while small and medium-sized businesses are facing the regulation, no tax changes, the high hydro rates. So, you know, they've done some good things. The minimum wage was clearly a flip-flop, but, you know, a lot of the record is concerning.
So let's talk about hydro rates. There was a huge initiative to get hydro back under control. What have you seen the Ontario government do in that area?
Well, you know, we still have very high hydro rates in Ontario compared to a lot of other places. I used to live in British Columbia, and while a lot of stuff is much more expensive there, I could not believe the difference when it came to paying hydro prices. Now, certainly the Ford government has been locked into a lot of the damage that the Liberals did, particularly in terms of the Green Energy Act. They repealed it, but there is some legacy of this because of the deals that stretched decades long that the Liberals negotiated when they were in power. The Ford government is spending about $6 billion this year to subsidize hydro bills for consumers to try to get those numbers down. They're still quite high, but obviously this is a very wrong-headed approach to how you should tackle high hydro rates. The problem is they came in a very difficult situation, and what they need to be doing going forward is going all in on all different types of energy, whether it's nuclear, or we're starting to see that in other areas. So I think the Ford government deserves credit for repealing the Green Energy Act, for trying to leave more money in people's pockets. Unfortunately, the legacy of the previous Liberal government on energy prices is going to last us for years to come, and we have to untangle that. It's a burden that's been placed on Doug Ford's shoulders.
Yeah, and certainly small to medium-sized businesses absolutely feeling the impact, as well as everyday Ontarians. Now we're going to go to break, and when we get back, we're going to pick this up on the other side and really unpack where other provinces are doing right, and we'll compare them and contrast them to Ontario. You're watching Canadian Innovators.